Hey guys, in this video we are still working on finding the missing angle of a triangle. However, this time it gets a little bit more unique. So we are dealing with isosceles triangles, find the missing angle, but first I wanted to make sure that we reviewed our triangle properties or characteristics or classification. So an equilateral triangle happens to have all three sides the same, which is why you see the dashes on the side lengths. So with an equilateral triangle, you have all angles, all sides the same. Okay, with an isosceles triangle, you have two sides, two angles the same. And same meaning equal. With a scaling triangle, you have no sides, no angles the same or equal. So no sides, no angles are equal. So today we are dealing with isosceles triangles and we are finding the missing angle. So we are focusing on this truth of isosceles triangles. Two angles have to be the same, and we're using that knowledge to find the missing angle of our triangle. So I'm going to start off with a couple of examples. So first we know that, and also what's true about a triangle is the total degrees in the triangle happens to be 180, so that truth has not changed. We have 180 degrees, and for my seventh graders who don't like when I make my eights like that, I fixed it for you. So anyways, the total degrees in a triangle is 180 degrees, and today we are specifically dealing with isosceles triangles and knowing that two angles are the same in those types of triangles. Okay, so let's dive into a couple of examples. The first one, we're finding the missing angle, and it is an isosceles triangle because 32 is given. Two angles are the same. And with that being said, I'm going to do the same concepts as I did in the original videos of finding the missing angle. We need to find and know the total of what is given. So we're going to take 32 plus 32 and add those together. That happens to become 64. And I know the total degrees in a triangle is 180. So let's take 180 and we're subtracting what is given, which is 64. So the missing angle is 116. So this guy right here is 116, and I did not draw this very well to scale at all. So, but anyways, the missing side length is 116, and I can test that out by adding up all the sides. So let's take 32 plus 116 to make sure that they all add up to 120. If so, I have solved number one correctly. So 32 plus 116 is 180. So my missing side length is true to being 116. Okay, and the next number two, next example, let's notice that it's an isosceles triangle, but only one side happens to be given. So we have a couple options here. The 84 could be repeated. It could be the side length that is the same, or also it could be the one that is missing. So let's go on two different truths. So let's say that the isosceles, the two angles that are the same happen to be the ones that are missing. So I'm going to do 180 because that is the total. And we're going to subtract 84. Okay, so 180 minus 84 happens to be 96. So I know that these two angles have to add up to 96, and they are the exact same angle. So if I call this angle X, they are the exact same. So because they are the exact same, the same number, I'm going to take 96 and divide that by 2. And 96 divided by 2 is 48. So the missing angle that I have could be 48, which means that 48 plus 48 plus 84 needs to add up to 180. And it does. But let's make sure that my 84 degrees was not the angle that was the same inside of my isosceles triangle. So what I mean by that is let's just say that 84 could be the one that was repeated. So that would make it 84 plus 84, and the additional angle would have to equal 180. So 84 plus 84 is 168, and 180 minus 168 is 12. So the missing angle could be 48, being 48, 48, or the missing angles could be 12, being 84, 84, and 12. Luckily for you, these questions show up on multiple choices and not a gridded response or an open-ended, because there are different possibilities. With that being said, the two possibles, let me just make sure I write those out clearly, is 48 plus 48 plus 84. That equaled 180, or 84 could have been my repeating or my angle that was the same. 84 plus 84, and the missing angle could be 28. But lucky for you, those are not going to be open response or good response questions. We're going to dive in ones that have multiple choices. So it's going to be listed with some multiple choices now. So number 3, I've given us multiple choices to decide from. So we have an isosceles triangle with one given angle, and that angle measurement is 22. So let me move this out of the way so we can see our multiple choices clearly. Okay, so isosceles triangle, given one angle, and that is 22. Y'all know me, and I'm a visual learner. I'm going to go ahead and draw a triangle, or attempt to draw an isosceles triangle. Probably not drawing it to scale, but it'll be okay. And one angle measurement in this triangle happens to be 22, and I need to figure out what's another possible one. So let's figure out, what do I know about isosceles triangles? Isosceles triangles have two of the same sides, and another one that is missing that adds up to 180. So I have a couple of options. If 44 happens to be one of those angles, one option could be, because it is an isosceles triangle, and 22 was given, it could be 22, and maybe 22 was repeated, and 44 is my other missing length. It could be possible that 44 is instead repeated, and the 22 was the one that was not the same. So we have two different possibilities for all of my answer choices. So let's test these out. And remember, it's true if it equals 180. So 44 plus, let's do 22 first. 22 plus 22 plus 44 adds up to 88. Okay, so it's not this option. Okay, but it could be 44 plus 44 plus 22. That's 110. Still didn't add up to 180, so 44 cannot be a possible angle. Okay, it could be, well, maybe. So 22 could be my missing side length, but that would mean that 22 would be repeated for the isosceles and then repeated again. If we remember correctly from the beginning of the video, if all angles are the same, that's called an equilateral triangle. And 22 plus 22 plus 22 also does not equal 180. So it doesn't even make a triangle at all. So B is not our option. Okay, we have two different outcomes for 80 being one of our angles. So the first one, let's say that 22 is the one that's repeated. So 22 plus 22, and now we're going to put 80 in as our missing piece. Okay, or 80 was the one that was repeating. 80 plus 80, and 22 was the one that was not the same or repeated. So with either options, 22 plus 22 plus 80 adds up to 124. So that didn't work, but before we rule out 80, let's rule out this option as well. 80 plus 80 plus 22. And that adds up to 182, which is bigger than 180, so C is not an option as well. Okay, so now our last and final option, so fingers crossed it should work. Let's say that my repeating angle is 22, so 22 plus 22 plus 136, and then another option could be that the 136 is repeating. 136 plus 136 plus 22. Let's see if either one of those work. 22 plus 22 plus 136 comes out to be 180. And just so we included all of the options before making our final decision, let's do 136 plus 136, which is bigger than 180, plus 22. That one happened to come out to be 294, but that is okay, because within the same angle measurement, I had the option of it being 22, 22, and 136. That came out to be 180, so D is my correct answer. So 22 was the one that repeated, and 136 was the piece that was also missing. Okay, number 4, same concept. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture because you know I'm a visual person. Just for warning, it's not drawn to scale. So isosceles triangle. Okay, I'm given one angle, and that angle measurement is 58. Let's just stick 58 in there. Okay, and I have a couple possibilities. 58 could be the one that is repeating. 58 could also be the one that's not repeating. So let's make sure that we are including all options as we use the multiple choices. So option 1, with A, we have 58 plus 58. Oh, and 58 is repeating again. So I guess there's only one single option here, because 58 could be the one that's repeating plus the one that they're suggesting. So 58 plus 58, they all happen to be the same, which we know is an equilateral triangle anyways, not an isosceles, and that sum comes out to be 174. So cannot be A. Okay, next we're going to try 122. So option 1, let's say 58 is the one that is repeating. So 58 plus 58 plus 122, or 122 is our repeating angle, and 58 is the one that is missing. So let's see if either of those options work. 58 plus 122 comes out to be 238. 122 plus 122 plus 58 comes out to be 302. So way over 180. Remember, that's a total degrees in the triangle. So cannot be B. Let's try C. So one option with using 61, and then we know that another angle, or the given angle that was given in the problem, is 58. So 58 could be my repeater. So 58, 58, and 61. Or 61 could be the repeater. 61, 61, and 58. So let's first test it out. 58 plus 58 plus 61 is 177. Okay, now let's try 61 plus 61 plus 58. That comes out to be 180. So 61 did work in this scenario of 61 repeating. So this is the answer, but you know, Miss Sam's, I want to make sure, and I want you to be sure that you are sure. Let's go ahead and try 119 anyways. So we're going to do 58, 58, 119. And you know it, that was bigger than 180. And then the other possibility could be that 119 is the one that repeats. And 119 plus 119 obviously is bigger than 180, but I just want to be sure. That number comes out to be 296. So nope, D was not the correct answer. Right answer. C was the correct choice, with using the scenario of 61 being the repeater, 61, 61, and 58, which was given in the original problem, added up to the sum of 180, which is the total degrees inside a triangle. So hopefully this video has helped you. Keep in mind that an isosceles triangle has two angles that are the same, whether it be the one that is given or one out of your multiple choices. Either way, there is one set that is true whenever you are given a series of multiple choices and not just an open-ended question. And two angles are always the same in an isosceles triangle. Best of luck on the assignment, and I hope the video has helped.